Welcome back to the Vantage Point. Michael Vail and Popeye from FederalJack.com. Dave in Oklahoma. You were on the show, man. What's on your mind tonight? Wait. If I press the button correctly, maybe he can talk. And Dave, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, guys. Just wanted to say, you mentioned Solzhenitsyn and the Gulag Archipelago, and it reminded me something that you don't hear much of, but it was in his first edition. I don't know if it in the editions after that, but he made it quite clear that in the time that he spent in the Gulag, that the top echelon or administration, as well as all the way down to the administrators of the gulags themselves, were communist Jews. And he made that clear on a number of occasions when he had interviews, and was translated from his Russian to English. And when you were talking about the Gulag, that was the first thing that popped in my mind was his making that very clear. But that's something we don't hear about very often when Solzhenitsyn and the Gulag is mentioned. That quote, which has been around for years. You just don't hear it in the mainstream media, so
that's
I'd throw it out there.
Because I think I bought either first or second edition from a Libris. It's a used online bookstore. I got like a ton of stuff from there, normally for like 99 cents, $1, $2, whatever have you. And I have to look that up because I think I have all the volumes to that. But it's interesting. Another guy, check out. I talked about this a little bit at the top of the show. Is a guy I'm writing a series of articles on called Jacques Ellul. He wrote the best book I've ever written. I'm not ever written, but ever read on propaganda. This guy provides examples, historical examples. He talks about the different types of propaganda, agitation propaganda, integration propaganda. He talks about the Mao Zedong's mold system, where they use social peer pressure to mold people into whatever way they want to, and hopefully I can finish up this article by Monday or Tuesday. But just killer material. He also writes about the technocracy. But that's interesting. I'm going to look that up and see if it's in my first or second edition.
I think you should. It'd be well worth your time. And when you mentioned propaganda, it made me think of one of the founders of early 20th century propaganda, Bernays, if you recall. And the gentleman, if I recall, Bernays had a background in public relations and advertising, and he took a lot of that and focused it, toward political and government propaganda and this kind of thing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's interesting stuff you guys are talking about, especially the RFID chip and the putting stuff in our food to make us think correctly or something.
Oh yeah, vaccines and like a matter of fact, I posted that article on blacklistnews.com about the RFID in your body that would still stay alive. I mean, honestly, Popeye, this would create more cancers. To have some
population control, Mike. These people are sick, evil, and twisted. I mean, Tucker reported from Bilderberg that they're pushing for war as their solution to overpopulation because they know they can kill massive amounts of people. But once they use depleted uranium, not only does it kill whoever you shoot, but now for the next 3.5 million years, that area is now everybody's going to have. Look at the kids in Fallujah. Women and guys and women that are married in Fallujah no longer want to have children because they're afraid of how the kids are going to come out. How horrible is that? How many generations of Iraqis have we destroyed?
Yeah,
for lies.
Not only that, but like I said, it's drifting everywhere. So basically, they'll be choking on their own little cocktail of death.
Oh well, they tested here on ranges. I was in the military. We have firing ranges where we use live rounds. So, and when I say live, I don't mean like regular training rounds. I mean like we'll use depleted uranium, weapons here in the United States. So now wherever we're shooting that, we've not only irradiated that area, but those particles are constantly getting blown up into the atmosphere and into the air. But they don't care about. Look, if they're not worried about telling you about Fukushima, they're not going to tell you about the depleted uranium. They do not care.
No, I mean, they covered up Fukushima. But, like I said, that, they even almost to the point admitted that. Dave, you got any other comments, man?
You opened the door to something else. It reminds me of the time when General Colin Powell, or Colin Powell, whichever pronunciation is better or correct, when he was here in Oklahoma City for sort of a congratulations. He had retired, and it was sort of a congratulatory meeting that they had for him at the Civic Center here in Oklahoma City. It's sort of a going away. Oklahoma City is very pro-military, you know what I'm saying, and it was sort of their going away party for him. And it made me think of previously he was at some particular university before he was in Oklahoma City, and I mean the in-the-know students really hounded him on the depleted uranium weapons and their effects on our troops in Iraq, and I think even Afghanistan to a lesser level. And of course, he was constantly in the denial mode. But I tell you what, guys, when I looked at General Colin Powell, I could see the stress on his face and his eyes, knowing that he was not really being truthful. And I just really felt that he didn't want to say that. I deep down in my heart, I feel he's a decent guy, but he was between a rock and a hard place. I mean, when you're working for the Bush administration, what can I say? You either do what you're told to do,
or somebody else will do it.
Right. I just got the feeling he really didn't want to say that, even as untrue as it was, and it made me think of his comeback. Oh no, depleting uranium is not all that dangerous. Blah blah blah. Hey, thanks guys. You're doing a good job. Bye now.
Appreciate it, Dave. Call anytime you like, man.
Okay.
Looks like we've got Fred. Turn down your radio there, buddy. Fred, are you with us? Fred, going once.
Yo.
Hey, Fred, what's on your mind tonight? Fred.
I think Fred hung up on himself.
Yeah, might be. Fred, call back in if you like. But continuing on here, I mean...
Well, dovetailing with what he was talking about, here's something creepy. You ever see the movie Gamer? Came out not too long ago?
Yes, I have.
Okay. It's got nano robots that take over your brain and rewire your brain. Then they can pump any thoughts, any movements into your brain. They can control you. Right?
Yep.
And it's got the propaganda end of it mixed into it, too, because that's the movie itself is like predictive programming. That's the way to get the idea into people's heads without people freaking out.
Matter of fact, there's a great book called The Universe Solved by Jim Eldridge, a good friend of mine. I've had him on the show many times. And he talks about how there could be a device created that could give you an artificial reality that basically was on the level of auditory, visual, kinesthetic, to the point where you wouldn't even know you were immersed in it. Because basically they will access your brain at the brainstem and light up the areas it needs to light up to keep you immersed in the system. And it said they could do it with ease with the kind of with the kind of quantum computing power and quantum entanglement power they have now. They have the sort of ways and means to do it, except for the matter of power, as the NSA has been having a lot of power problems. I guess they don't have that free energy. We'll bring this back on the other side. Talk a little about the pharmaceutical industry, the madness industry, and bipolar, and God knows what else. Stick around, VantageRadio.com, me and Popeye.